Hey everybody. Today is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2023.
Hey. You know, it is Cinco de Mayo.
It is. Happy Cinco de Mayo,
Happy
everybody.
Cinco de Mayo. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And this is Hanging with Uncle.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo. It was Star Wars Day yesterday. Totally missed out on that.
May the 4th be with you.
A little delayed on that one, but...
Or if you like The Mandalorian, my son hit me with this one. This is the May.
A lot of people are like Justin Timberlake fans. It's gonna be May. It's gonna be May. Anyways, May 5th, 2023. Hanging with Uncle episode. What number are we on? Oh,
104.
Wow.
This is 104.
We've been doing this for a very long time. Hopefully everyone's been loving the episodes and been happy and tuning in. We are doing a very easy segment for us because it's honestly a pretty old one. We're paying ourselves today. That's right. We are paying ourselves today. Make sure you don't forget to pay yourself. You're the number one bill in your life. Make sure you save, make money for yourself.
That's right.
I mean, that's kind of the premise here. So,
and also before we get started, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Yes. And hit that thumbs up, that like button. It really helps our channel out.
Yeah, and hit the bell if you want notifications in the future whenever we put our videos up or whenever we go live. I forgot that part. Sorry.
Yeah. It's all good, man.
But anyways, we got some money talk today, so hang on to your belts because we love these conversations. First off, we got a debt ceiling conversation, huh?
Yeah, we got debt ceiling, and that's coming up real soon. But you know what really there is to understand about the debt ceiling is that it's not just the American economy, but it's the global economy. Mm-hmm. And because ours is the biggest economy, if ours shuts down or goes into collapse, it'll be like dominoes. The rest of the world's economy will start falling as well.
Holy jeez.
You know, it's like these MAGA Republicans that are in office just want to watch the world burn. Unless they can have it their way, which is white rule.
Which I don't understand at all. Like, why... I don't know. The system's set in place for a reason. Why put in policies that go against it? You know what I mean? Like, I never understood. Like, we are always for advancement, never repeating history, that kind of deal. Like, being progressive, moving forward.
You know, and that's the importance of learning history. So you don't make those same mistakes again. But here we are.
And policies are set in place to avoid that situation, and yet they're putting policies in place that are changing things and affecting the global economy. Which, why?
Yeah.
Don't understand at all.
I don't either, man. I've never understood the philosophy of giving the biggest tax breaks to the 1%, the people who need it the least, when the people who need it the most are being raked over the coals, you know? No. It's like the sheriff of Nottingham is coming or something.
Jesus. Yeah, I honestly, I can't bring up this topic because, well, it's my dumbass of the week, but,
Save it.
Yeah, definitely people who have money are taking for granted what they have and the life of luxury that they have. Not necessarily saying we need to go Robin Hood on their ass and take their money, but, like, they really should provide or contribute. Who?
I would say ask yourself a question.
Like, because they have more.
The people that are listening out there, just ask yourself a question. What do you think you would need to live comfortably on per year? And just kind of ask yourself that question. You know, write it in a comment below and send it to us and let us know. And we'd really be interested to hear what your thoughts are on that, because one person's viewpoint may be different than somebody else's. So we just really kind of like to get a consistency of what the people think.
Right. It's like I'm even questioning how much it is or what I would say. I would have to think about it because necessarily, like, to live comfortably through what I need, like, I get paid weekly, work for a large company that I do customer service for. Girlfriend does a head of HR department type of job, and we still basically live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
With in an apartment. So it's like,
so imagine what happens, to people who want to start borrowing if America defaults on its loans and, the credit rating goes down and interest rates go up, and what that does to the cost of things, all for what? And again, raising the debt ceiling is just paying the bills that have already been incurred and spent by the previous administration. So these tax cuts that go on that are given and are in perpetuity, like the tax cut bill the Tangerine Terror put in through, that still has to be taken into account. And that's trillions of dollars in deficits that, are caused by what he did. And, if we don't pay those bills, again, number one, who owns the most of the United States debt? It's Japan. And then number two is China. And number three is Saudi Arabia. So think about it. Do you want to default? What do you think is going to happen? The missiles are going to start flying.
Don't want that.
No. So pay your bills, So don't mess around with the America's credit,
Right.
Kevin McCarthy, grow a spine, find 5 Republicans, because that's all it's going to take. Find 5 Republicans who will agree to extend the debt ceiling, bring that shit to the floor, work with Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats to save the American economy.
It's so crazy how important that stuff can be, I guess, because I'm sitting at home, no knowledge whatsoever that's going on, but it's like, it's so intense to know that, like, that kind of situation relies on these people, and yet it's disheartening to know that it's in their hands as well, because it's like, oh shit.
Well, and again,
get it done, please.
Let's talk about history. When John Boehner was Speaker of the House, right? He had the same wackadoodles in Congress to work with as Kevin McCarthy does. And, whatever, you can say whatever you want to about Nancy Pelosi, but they worked together to keep the American economy going and afloat and moving. And, saying, putting an end to this shutting the government down crap.
Yeah, I don't understand. It just sounds lazy to me. That's it. Like, it's a lazy deal. Like, oh, it's coming up again. We got to do this again. Like, it should be done already, honestly.
And they can do it, but, to do something like that requires people working together and not working like it's my side versus your side. Stop, do away with that mentality. We talk about that all the time.
All the time, we do. Like, you have a responsibility to have something done. You have to set aside the differences and focus on the goal. Like, set it straight. Like, get it done literally beforehand, so you don't have to worry about these kind of delays and issues again and affecting the global economy and all. Because that sounds kind of crazy. Like, like, let's not have that be a thing at all. Like, just do it. Like, that'd be great.
Grow a backbone, Kevin McCarthy, and be the Speaker of the fucking House, and not be afraid of Matt the dumbass Gates and Margarine Trader Green and so on and so forth.
Again, it makes me nervous that these people have the power of all these things that in their hands, and they're being negligent about it.
Yeah, extremely negligent about it.
Extremely. That's crazy.
Anyway, man, let's move on to the writer's strike.
Yeah, that is a big one, actually, that's going on right now. If you haven't heard, I'd probably be living under a rock. But if Patrick Starr didn't hear, then we'll tell us anyways. But SpongeBob reference. He lives under a rock, you know.
Anyway. Something happened.
Yeah, yes, Patrick. No, the Writers Guild, right, is what they're called. The thousands upon thousands went on strike today, affecting multiple amounts of shows that you would say watch normally on the tube or on streaming services or whichever. They all went on strike, which put these shows on pause, but. This happened 15 years ago, they said, something like that, where it affected...
Been a while. So I remember back in the day, if you ever watched that show, Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the first season of Heroes was awesome.
It was great, yeah.
And then the second season, the writers went on strike.
Yep.
And they got these scab writers.
Quantum of Solace.
And the number of episodes in season 2 was like cut in half. Mm-hmm. And it blew chunks. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't even watch season 3. It got so bad.
I was so big of a James Bond fan that I did enjoy Quantum of Solace still, but it was one of those movies that was affected by the budget too. A Transformer movie, I believe, was as well. I think it was the second one. But they just... because of that strike, those movies were affected and the budget was low. They used such bad sounds and it just the movie didn't quite sit right with the franchises, or the shows didn't quite connect with the next season. Heroes was a big one. I remember that being about the last strike. But with this one, it's affecting not only just like shows that are being produced on TV, but it's being affected to like streaming shows too, shows that are being produced now for streaming services. Reason being is the streaming services that these writers are on strike, which we'll get to the meat and potatoes of it in a second, but we're kind of working around everything and getting all the details in. But these writers have been on strike for 3 days now. 3 days. The last time they all went on strike, it affected about $3 billion of the industry, they said.
Yeah.
So this is day 3. A part of the strike that happened the other day, they actually intervened with a shoot that was happening during a Marvel movie or a Marvel show. There was some sort of Marvel shoot that was happening, and they ended up being loud enough for their protest that it disturbed the shoot of the Marvel movie, which is one of the
money makers.
Yeah, one of the money makers. I mean, that's the goal, and they did. They upheld shooting for 4 hours. It's a fucking ton of money.
Right.
So they're still actively striking, to my understanding. People are supporting. People are talking about it. More and more and more are talking about it.
And that affects people's lives. That's their livelihood. And the circumstances that they want these writers to work under, you know, treat them, but with the money you're making off the shows they're writing, treat them better.
And you're saying that it affects people's lives, and that is correct. It's not only affecting the money that the producers and the big the studios are making, but it's affecting the people who are working there, but it's also affecting the writers
and their families,
because the writers are literally the main reason why that universe exists. Like, literally, Guardians of the Galaxy, like, there was a writer, there was a person who wrote the comic books, there was a writer, if you didn't know about that. Like, people who are underpaid for writing these movies, people who are underpaid for writing Deadpool series, people who are underpaid for writing miniature series and stuff like that, and that's what they're striking about. It's now become we gotta hire you for this and then just get rid of you because for like a short contract kind of deal. They said it's gig style is what they're hiring writers for now these days. And they're not getting paid what they're deserved.
And what kind of benefit package are they being offered?
None, it sounds like, because they're able to just I don't know. You have to look into it a little bit more. We try to. We're not your news source. We want you to go and look it up yourself too and educate yourself. That's why it's a conversation here at Uncle. But I don't know the in-depth details about what their benefits are or anything like that. It's just they are underpaid. There was a person who said that they were writing for SpongeBob, the show, and they made about $15,000 a year. That's insane.
And just the merchandise alone off that
and all they're asking for is money that is coming in.
Royalties.
Literally to be spread upon them a little bit more. Things that literally is their idea. They're asking for more credit for their ideas, which is insane to me. Their idea, their general idea that they put together. People literally went out, wrote Ragnarok, and they're like, can we have a little bit more money for that, please, streaming service? No, we only hired you for a short-term contract, sorry. We're not going to pay you any more for the royalties that are coming in from it because you have a short-term contract. That's what they're doing.
I'll tell you another one, man. Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that the writers
the huge
blew
universe
chunked on at the very end.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, they probably don't deserve the pay that they would want, but in other ways, it's just people are fighting for their jobs, their livelihoods, the things that they do, and a lot of people are more focused on the outside instead of the inside, like the nucleus of the story, like the actors and the big production and the there's so much money poured into this. It's like, but is this money going to these people that are making it? Is the next question. But no one wants to ask that question. Well, now this is what happens when you don't ask these questions. It's just like teachers. Teachers go on strike. Guess what? Education lacks, and we're seeing that in this day and age. But quality teachers, more pay. Like there's just repetition of this kind of stuff. And now writers, your shows, Jimmy Kimmel, Fallon, they're all gonna have their writers are not there, so they're not having their live shows. Like that's what's happening.
Right, The Daily Show. I mean, Colbert. I forget who the other one is, but yeah, none of them are having shows while the writers are on strike, and right. I like that. I like that they support and stand with their writers.
And there's nitpicky stories out there. There's always going to be some other tale story, whatever, about a person who felt neglected while working. And apparently, I think Fallon's having one, whatever. But there's always going to be somebody who feels that way. That's kind of how it is. But it's not like they are neglected right now. That's the big picture. And then they are speaking out for that right now. They're in support.
Yeah.
They need that kind of support to have something to go into effect. So the fact that even Fallon alone is able to say it out loud I think it was at the Met Gala, which is a big deal. Like that's where he said it, and he good. They need that kind of representation for their
and that gives them leverage when they go to negotiate.
Gives them numbers that they need, gives them support that they need. People are giving out pizzas. Pete Davidson and Hasanabi went out and supported them and gave out pizzas and bought food for them. Like they don't have to spend a dime. They're not making money. They're not out working at that moment because they're choosing to not work. But it's affecting
that's
industry.
Understanding that they wouldn't be in the position they're in if it weren't for the writers.
Mm-hmm. Right, they wouldn't be in that position if it weren't for writers. That's for the fact. But the hold strong during the strike is what I say, because I think honestly it's worth it.
Yeah,
we need more approaches like that. Honestly, on other jobs too, other structured jobs, like teaching is always one that I'll say, like that needs better pay, better quality, because it's reflecting on us right now the lack of quality that we're receiving through education.
I think if you want to put the importance of job to their pay, teachers would be at the top of the class.
You think it would be, because that's where your astronauts, your presidents, your CEOs of tomorrow come from, because they're educated. So it's like that. Education's important. Like if a better quality education is a better future, honestly, is how I look at it. And I think that's a major thing that we lack right now.
And honestly, I really support pre-K, free pre-K. I mean, with the maternal care in this country, you have 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ready in 6 weeks to leave their child with somebody they don't know. Right?
I wouldn't be.
So, let's talk about that. Let's address those issues. Mm-hmm. And pay these people really what they're worth and give them what they need. Yeah. And it only helps during the formative years with kids. when they're sponges and learn everything. You know,
It's-
give
you
them
gotta
stuff
mold
at
them.
their fingertips to let them explore and learn. And
Yeah, that's what I mean. I had most respect for most of my teachers going through the school year. Some of them didn't understand my way of learning. I have ADHD. It's shocker. I'm always all over the place. I mean, like, but it was a hard thing to have. Well, going through education, but I've had those type of teachers who help mold me to understand how I think and to think that way. And that kind of support has got me to become who I am today, which is awesome. But but it's like you have to respect that profession. That profession is very important, and
it's everything.
a lack of quality is not good.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it. But yeah, that's my stance. We gotta support these writers. Gotta support these small people who are being neglected by industries that are large.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, man.
Anyways, you ready for our dumbass of the week, or?
Sure.
Yeah. Did you want to go first?
Well, again, my dumbass of the week is Kevin McCarthy with his debt ceiling.
Okay, kind of bouncing off the debt ceiling. Okay.
Right, man. I think that he's weak.
Mm-hmm.
That he's a Horcrux. He gave away his soul in many different pieces to become the speaker, and if he does anything, pieces of him will start getting destroyed. And he'll lose the gavel. And again, man, this is just something you don't want to mess around with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking people's retirements. We're talking the stock market. We're talking the global economy.
Yeah.
Because you want to hold the debt ceiling hostage over Social Security, which is, remember when during the State of the Union, when President Biden said, you know, the Republicans wanted to do that, and they started calling him a liar, and he's like, okay, well, great, then I know that's off the table now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we know Republicans were actually lying.
Right.
Because that's exactly what they want to do. They want to hold the things that we've paid for all of our lives hostage and take it away from us to get what they want and put it in their pockets, because there's billions and billions of dollars in Social Security. It is solvent, and
it helps people like you.
well, it
Helps
does
people.
help people like me and lots of other people my age, people that have paid into it their whole lives. And, yeah, you can't take that away, and I can't believe that not only that these elected officials would do that, but that people in their districts don't have the knowledge or understanding to not send them back to Washington, D.C. to destroy the things that they themselves are paying for. A classic example of voting against their own best interest.
Yeah.
And Kevin McCarthy is their leader, and he's going to take them straight to the bottom. And that's my dumbass of the week is Kevin McCarthy.
Well, mine is Clarence Thomas again. I think last time I had him was the abortion thing, and yeah, that was not a good one. But this is also not a good one because it kind of grinded my gears a little bit. A little statement about Mr. Thomas. He, after receiving a bunch of donations, which we talked about in the prior episodes, if you would like to go and check those out at our YouTube channel. The VODs are there if you want to go listen. He was receiving mega donations for his charitable work, for doing wonderful job at being a good justice in the Supreme Court. That's why. But we already know, no, that's not the case. But he also then said the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, that it's not worth doing for what it pays. Excuse me, sir. What? You're receiving mega donations for hitting a gavel and saying crazy things. 2, you're making...
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Before you say it,
Yep.
remember that question I asked you earlier. How much is enough? What would you need to make to be comfortable and make sure that you had everything you and your family needed?
I do not know about how much he is making directly, but for a Chief Justice in the Supreme Court, they're making $286,000 a year, and yet he doesn't have to spend a dime of it for anything that he does throughout the day.
Well, he's not the Chief Justice. What are the Associate Justice?
Was it Associate Justice? Oh, that's right. The Associate Justice, which is what he is. Sorry, I read the wrong one. Is $2,700. Oh, sorry. $200,074. I am so $274,000. Oh my gosh. Words. $274,000. I'm sorry. It's been a long day today. That's how much he makes, and he doesn't have to spend an ounce or a wink of it with these mega donations he's receiving.
His mom lives rent free.
Or
his kid went to school.
I'm sure he doesn't
with his tuition paid by Harlan Crow, their billionaire benefactor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm sure he doesn't have to pay for school for his kids. I'm sure he doesn't have to pay anything towards his job besides the money that he's being made. I would love $274,000 in my pocket.
And he doesn't make enough?
Year. No, that's what he says. It doesn't make enough for his stance, apparently. Obviously, you're accepting money from people. Like, gee.
Well, I can tell you, all right, now that's just his
opinion.
His base salary as an associate justice.
Yeah, it's all on the internet.
He also, no doubt, makes at least 6 figures on the speaking tour when he goes and talks to places. You want to listen to Clarence Thomas, it's going to cost you 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
So let's there's other ways he makes money. Not to mention books he's written. I mean, so
yeah,
the dude is not going to miss any meals.
I can't have been more triggered in my life reading that. I'm like, excuse me, you don't make enough money. You don't even do your job, sir. Like, what do you mean you don't make enough money for what you do? Like, absolutely unreal. I don't understand. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. He's my dumbass of the week.
Roe would still be the law of the land if it wasn't for Uncle Clarence.
Get rid of Uncle Tom. Don't like him. He's drunk all the time and saying crazy things. Oh.
Reminds me of Uncle Ruckus.
We have a chat here. That's because it falls to living within your means. If you can't support a lavish lifestyle and complain about money, then downsize. Exactly. Manage your money. Budget. But these are the same people we're trusting with our debt ceiling, too.
And we're the lazy ones, and we're the ones that have our.
We're making a living on not making $274,000 a year.
Right?
Not making that much. Like,
yeah,
he's making that much on his own.
Not to mention what his wife makes.
No, don't get me started.
They're balling.
Yeah, I know they're balling. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life to say. Yeah. After going through a scandal with your scandal about receiving mega donations, why would you say something like that? Well, I get paid enough. What? Oh, that's
sorry, Uncle Clarence. Yeah, you're a dumbass.
And he got it today, man. That's unreal. I don't understand.
Anyway, you think the Suns will come back?
I do. I hope so. Faster pace with campaign. Is that because CP3 is not playing, groin injury? Kevin Durant's going to have a bounce back night. D-Book has been consistent. Gotta knock on wood for that one. And DeAndre Ayton is getting media attention, and it's not good attention. And he's not getting dominating praises, I'm sure, and he doesn't like that. So hopefully we see a different team tonight. I'm real excited. They started. Oh, God, it started. I'm wearing purple today for a reason, so I never wear the team directly on the day because it's bad karma. Let's go Suns. Anyways, I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it's been Hanging with Uncle.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.